Olivia Mason liked to be alone. She worked in her father's old auto shop on the edge of Millfield, Wyoming. People in town knew her as the best mechanic around. If something was broken, Olivia could fix it. The shop sat at the end of a dirt road, with tall pine trees all around. Behind it was a junkyard full of old cars and machines. Olivia lived in a small house next to the shop. It wasn't much, but it was home. Every day was the same for Olivia. Wake up at sunrise, drink black coffee, work on cars until sunset, eat dinner alone, sleep. She didn't mind the routine. Machines made sense to her in a way people never did. On a cool Tuesday night in October, Olivia was in her shop working late. She was fixing an old tractor engine when she heard a sound that made her stop. It started as a low hum, then grew louder, until it sounded like thunder. The tools on her wall began to shake. Olivia ran outside. In the night sky, she saw a bright light. It wasn't a plane or a star. It moved too fast, cutting across the darkness like a knife. Then the light dropped, heading straight for the forest behind her property. The crash shook the ground. A flash of blue light lit up the trees. Without thinking, Olivia grabbed her flashlight and first aid kit. If someone was hurt, they would need help. The forest was dark and thick with trees. Olivia followed the path of broken branches. The smell of burnt wood and something strange, like metal and electricity, filled the air. After walking for 10 minutes, she came to a clearing that hadn't been there before. Trees were knocked down in a perfect circle. In the middle sat something Olivia had never seen before. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't anything made on Earth. The object was about the size of a small bus. Its surface was smooth and dark, with lines of blue light running across it like veins. Parts of it seemed to shift color when she moved her flashlight. Olivia took a step back. She should call someone, the police, the army, someone who would know what to do with a crashed, whatever this was. But before she could turn to leave, part of the strange object moved. A section of the side slid open without a sound. Light poured out from inside. Olivia raised her hand to shield her eyes. When she looked again, someone was standing in the opening. It was a woman. At least she looked mostly like a woman. She was tall, with long limbs and pale skin that seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. Her hair was white, falling in waves to her shoulders. Her eyes were the strangest part, large, with pupils that reflected light like a cat's. The woman stumbled forward and fell to her knees. Olivia, forgetting her fear, ran forward to help. "Are you hurt?" Olivia asked, kneeling beside the stranger. The kinder woman looked at her. For a moment she said nothing. Then she spoke in perfect English, though her voice had a musical quality to it. "My vessel has been damaged. I require assistance." Her words were formal, like someone who had learned English from books. "Your vessel? You mean that ship?" Olivia looked at the strange object. "Yes. I was approaching your planet for research when my systems failed." The woman tried to stand but winced in pain. "You're injured. Let me help you to my house," Olivia said, offering her arm. The woman hesitated, then accepted the help. As they walked slowly through the forest, Olivia noticed things about her companion that seemed off. Her skin was cool to the touch. Her movements were too graceful, even while injured. And sometimes, from the corner of her eye, Olivia thought, she saw the woman's shadow move in ways that didn't match her body. "I'm Olivia Mason," she said, trying to sound normal in a situation that was anything but normal. "You may call me Lyra," the woman replied. There was a slight pause before she gave the name as if she was making it up. "Is that your real name?" Olivia asked. Lyra's strange eyes fixed on her. "It is a name you can pronounce." They reached Olivia's house. It was small and plain, with worn furniture and few decorations. Olivia helped Lyra to the couch. "Are there others looking for you?" Olivia asked, thinking about the implications of an aircraft or spacecraft crashing near her home. "No," Lyra said. "I was alone. A research mission. My people will not miss." Me for some time. Your people, Olivia repeated. You're not from around here, are you? Lyra's lips curved into a small smile. No, I am not. Are you not human? Olivia asked, finally saying what she had been thinking since she first saw Lyra step out of the crashed vessel. I am a researcher from a place far from here, Lyra said, avoiding a direct answer. My ship is damaged. I need to repair it before others find it. Will you help me? Olivia should have said no. She should have called the authorities. But the mechanic in her was already curious about the strange vessel in the woods. What kind of technology could make something like that fly? How did it work? And if she was honest with herself, she was also curious about Lyra. I fix things. That's what I do, Olivia said. I can take a look at your ship tomorrow, but I can't promise anything. Thank you, Lyra said. She touched a device on her wrist and it lit up with symbols Olivia didn't recognize. You are kind to help a stranger. Get some rest, Olivia said, bringing a blanket. We'll figure things out in the morning. As Olivia went to her bedroom, she wondered what she had gotten herself into. Outside her window, she could see the faint blue glow from the crash site in the distance, and somewhere far above Earth, beyond what any human telescope could see, something responded to the signal from Lyra's wrist device. Something large. Something with many ships. Olivia fell asleep, unaware that the woman on her couch was much more than a researcher. Unaware that Lyra's real name was unpronounceable in any human language. Unaware that she had just invited the queen of a vast interstellar empire into her home. And Lyra, watching the night sky through the window, wondered if this human mechanic might be the key to completing her mission before her enemies discovered where she had gone. The next morning, Olivia woke up early. For a moment, she thought she had dreamed everything. The crash, the strange ship, the woman with cat-like eyes. Then she heard movement in her kitchen. Lyra stood by the stove, looking at it with confusion. She wore the same odd clothes from the night before, a tight-fitting suit that seemed to shift between dark blue and black. Good morning, Olivia said. Have you never seen a stove before? Our cooking methods are different, Lyra replied. She didn't seem embarrassed to be caught not knowing something so basic. Olivia made them both breakfast, eggs, toast, and coffee. Lyra watched every move with careful eyes. When she tasted the food, her face showed surprise. This is pleasant, she said. After breakfast, they walked to the crash site. In daylight, the ship looked even stranger. Its surface wasn't metal or plastic, but something in between. When Olivia touched it, it felt warm, almost alive. How does it work? She asked. Lyra touched the side of the ship. A panel slid open, revealing a space inside filled with lights and strange objects. This is the main control system. It guides the ship through space. It is damaged. Olivia looked inside. The technology was unlike anything she had ever seen. Instead of wires and circuits, there were crystal-like structures and flowing liquid metals. Some parts seemed to move on their own. I don't know if I can fix this, Olivia admitted. I've never seen anything like it. You understand machines? Lyra said. The principles are the same even if the parts are different. A power source, a control system, movement mechanisms. Olivia wasn't so sure, but she liked a challenge. I'll need to bring some tools from my shop, and we should cover this somehow. If someone flies over and sees it, I can help with that, Lyra said. She touched her wrist device again. The ship shimmered, and then its appearance changed. It now looked like a pile of old car parts and scrap metal, still unusual in the middle of the forest, but not alien. How did you do that? Olivia asked, amazed. Light manipulation. A simple trick, Lyra said, though her face showed strain from the effort. They spent the day examining the ship. Lyra explained what each part did, using simple terms Olivia could understand. The main problem was the power core, a crystal-like object that had cracked during the crash. Without it, the ship cannot fly or communicate, Lyra explained. Can you make a new one? Olivia asked. Not here, not with the materials available on this planet. Lyra looked worried for the first time. I need to repair it enough to send a signal. My people can then find me. Olivia didn't ask who my people were. She was already in too deep. Instead, she focused on what she did best, fixing things. For the next week, they fell into a routine. Every morning, they would go to the ship. Olivia would bring different tools and parts from her shop. Lyra would explain more about the ship's systems. In the evenings, they would return to Olivia's house, tired but making progress. Olivia learned that Lyra was a quick study. She picked up English phrases and human customs rapidly, but sometimes she would say things that made no sense, like referring to the last great stellar alignment, or asking if Earth had resolved its atmospheric modification issues yet. On the 8th day, as they worked inside the ship, Olivia accidentally touched two components together. A spark jumped between them and a small screen lit up on the wall. Strange symbols flashed across it. "What's happening?" Olivia asked. Lyra's face showed shock, then excitement. "You've reactivated the emergency beacon. This is good, very good. So your people will find you now?" "Yes, though it may take time. The signal is weak." Lyra touched the screen, and the symbols changed. "We must continue repairs. The power core needs to be stronger for a full transmission." As they worked, Olivia noticed changes in the ship. Parts that had been damaged began to heal themselves. Lights that had been dark came back on. It was as if the ship was waking up. "Is it alive?" she asked Lyra. "Not in the way you mean," Lyra said. "But yes, it has systems that can repair themselves given enough energy. Your work is giving it that energy." One night, 2 weeks after the crash, they sat on Olivia's porch. The stars were bright overhead. Lyra looked at them with longing. "You miss home?" Olivia asked. "I have responsibilities there," Lyra said. It wasn't really an answer. "What's it like? Your world?" Lyra was quiet for a moment. "It is beautiful in its way. 3 moons, oceans that shine at night, cities that float among the clouds." She sounded sad. "But there has been war for many cycles. That is why research missions like mine are important." "War with who?" Olivia asked. Lyra's eyes darkened. "An enemy that consumes, that destroys. That will not stop until everything is under their control." The way she said it made Olivia shiver. "And they're out there? In space?" "Yes. Moving always, seeking new worlds." Lyra looked directly at Olivia. "Worlds like yours." The next day, they made a breakthrough. Using parts from an old satellite dish Olivia had in her junkyard, they strengthened the ship's communication system. The power core, though still damaged, was now functioning at a higher level. "I think we've done it," Olivia said, wiping grease from her hands. "Will this be enough to call for help?" "Yes," Lyra said. She touched her wrist device and the ship hummed to life. More lights came on. The air inside felt charged with energy. "I am sending the full signal now." As Lyra worked with the ship's controls, Olivia noticed something strange. A panel at the back of the ship had opened, one she hadn't seen before. Inside was a small compartment, and in that compartment, something moved. Olivia stepped closer. The thing inside looked like a metal insect about the size of her hand. As she watched, it unfolded itself, revealing more legs and a head with multiple glowing eyes. Then another one appeared beside it. And another. "Lyra," Olivia called, her voice tight with fear. "What are these things?" Lyra turned. When she saw the metal creatures, her face changed. The calm, curious expression was replaced by something harder, more commanding. "Defense drones," she said. "They were inactive until now." "Defense? Against what?" Before Lyra could answer, her wrist device beeped. The symbols on it changed to a deep red. Lyra's eyes widened. "They've found me," she whispered. "Who has?" Olivia asked, suddenly afraid. "Both of them. My fleet and the enemy." Lyra's voice had changed too. It was deeper, more authoritative. "We have very little time." The metal insects began to crawl out of their compartment. They moved across the floor of the ship, then up the walls, taking positions as if standing guard. Lyra, what's going on? Who are you, really? Olivia demanded. Lyra stood straight, seeming taller somehow. I am not just a researcher, that was a simplification. Then what are you? I am the sovereign of the Viridian Collective, leader of the Seven Systems Alliance. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. What you would call a queen. Olivia stared at her. The strange woman she had been helping for 2 weeks, the one who couldn't work a stove but could make a spaceship change its appearance, was royalty from another world. A queen, Olivia repeated. And those signals you just sent? We'll bring my royal fleet to this sector of space, Lyra said. But the enemy has detected them too. They are coming, Olivia. Both sides are coming to your world. Outside, the sky was darkening, though it was only midday. Clouds were gathering, but they moved in strange patterns, swirling too fast. And high above, beyond what the human eye could see, ships were appearing, some coming to rescue a queen, others coming to hunt her. Earth was about to be caught in the middle of a war it didn't even know existed. A queen, Olivia said again, trying to make sense of it. You lied to me. I simplified, Lyra replied. Would you have helped me if I had told you the truth? That I was being hunted? That my presence puts your world at risk? Olivia wanted to be angry, but she understood. Sometimes simple lies were easier than complicated truths. Still, this was beyond anything she could have imagined. Why are you really here? She asked. On Earth? Lyra's face became serious. To determine if your people could be allies. My kind has been fighting the Draven for centuries. They consume resources, strip planets bare, enslave populations. They move through the galaxy like a plague. And now, they're coming here? Because of you? They were already coming, Lyra said. I was sent to find out if humans were advanced enough to help us fight, or if your world would simply be lost. A sound like distant thunder rolled across the sky, but it wasn't thunder. Olivia knew that now. How much time do we have? She asked. Hours, perhaps, Lyra said. My fleet will arrive first, but the Draven are close behind. Olivia thought quickly. She was just a mechanic from a small town. She fixed engines, not interstellar problems. But she had to do something. We need to warn people, she said. The government, the military, someone who can prepare. Your weapons would be useless against Draven ships, Lyra said. And my people will not reveal themselves to a world not ready for the knowledge of other intelligent life. So we just wait? Let whatever happens, happen? Lyra touched her wrist device. A hologram appeared between them, a map of stars and planets, with moving lights representing ships. Many lights were heading toward one point, Earth. My royal guard will extract me, Lyra said. The ship is functioning enough for short planetary flight. We will meet them in orbit. And leave Earth to deal with these Draven? Olivia couldn't believe what she was hearing. It is the way of things, Lyra said, though she didn't sound happy about it. Some worlds are saved, others are sacrificed. Olivia stepped back from the alien queen. In that moment, she made a decision. While Lyra was focused on the hologram, Olivia reached under a panel they had been working on. There, she had hidden a small device of her own making, a kill switch that would shut down the ship's power core completely. She had built it as a precaution, never really thinking she would use it. Now, she pressed it. The lights in the ship flickered and died. The hologram vanished. The humming sound that had been growing louder suddenly stopped. What have you done? Lyra demanded, her eyes flashing with anger. Grounded you, Olivia said firmly. If you want to leave, you'll have to find another way. But you're not taking the ship. For a moment, she thought Lyra might attack her. The metal insects, the defense drones, moved closer, their eyes glowing red. But then Lyra's expression changed. She looked at Olivia with something like respect. You would risk yourself to protect your people, she said. Even against a force you don't understand. That's what humans do, Olivia replied. We're stubborn that way." Before they could say more, headlights swept across the clearing. Cars were coming up the forest path, black SUVs with government plates. Someone had noticed the strange signals coming from the woods. "They've found us," Olivia said. "Federal agents, probably." "They cannot take me," Lyra said, suddenly alarmed. "If they study me, experiment on me, the Draven will still come, but my people will consider Earth hostile. There will be no chance of alliance." Olivia hadn't thought of that. She made another quick decision. "Follow me. We'll go through the back of my property. There's an old storm cellar no one knows about." They slipped out of the ship just as the first agents entered the clearing. The defense drones followed, scuttling through the underbrush like metallic spiders. Olivia led the way through the dark forest using paths she had known since childhood. The storm cellar was small and dusty, but it was well hidden beneath an old oak tree. Once inside, they could hear the sounds of vehicles and shouting voices. "In the distance, they'll find your ship," Olivia said. "They'll know it's not from Earth. The self-protection systems will activate now that we are not present," Lyra said. "They will find only mist and confusion." They sat in silence for a while, listening to the commotion outside. The metal drones had positioned themselves around the cellar, hidden in the darkness. "Tell me about the Draven," Olivia finally said. "What exactly are we facing?" Lyra's face was barely visible in the dim light. "They were once like you, like us, organic. But they merged with machines, enhanced themselves until little of their original form remained. They became something new, something hungry for resources, for energy, for worlds to strip and use. And your people, the Viridians? We maintain balance. We protect worlds that cannot protect themselves. We have technology, yes, but we remember what it means to be people." Lyra looked at her hands. "I am the 27th sovereign of my line, the one who must decide which worlds to save and which to let go." Olivia tried to imagine the weight of such decisions. "Why didn't you tell me the truth from the beginning?" "Protocol. We observe first. We do not interfere unless necessary." Lyra's eyes found Olivia's in the darkness. "And I was afraid, alone on a strange world. You were kind to me and I needed your help." A new sound cut through the night, a high-pitched whine like metal being torn. The ground trembled. "What is that?" Olivia asked. "The Draven. A scout ship." Lyra's voice was tight with fear. "They've arrived sooner than I expected." Through a crack in the cellar door, they could see flashes of light in the sky. Something large and dark was moving above the trees, different from Lyra's elegant ship. This thing was all sharp angles and pulsing red lights. "What will they do?" Olivia whispered. "Search for me. They know a royal vessel crashed here. They will want to capture me, use me as leverage against my people." Lyra's hand went to a small pendant around her neck. "This contains information. They must not have. Coordinates of allied worlds, defense codes, battle plans." The whining sound grew louder. Something large passed directly overhead, sending dust falling from the cellar ceiling. "We can't stay here," Olivia said. "We need a better plan than hiding." Lyra seemed to make a decision. "There is a way to contact my fleet directly, but it requires more power than my wrist device can generate." "What kind of power?" "Electromagnetic. Energy. A large amount focused in one place." Olivia thought for a moment. "The power station, about 5 miles from here. It supplies electricity to half the county." "That could work," Lyra said, "but we would need to reach it without being detected." "I know these woods better than anyone," Olivia said. "And I have a truck hidden behind my workshop that doesn't have any electronics newer than 1975. Nothing for them to track." As they prepared to leave the cellar, Olivia realized how surreal her life had become. A week ago, she was fixing tractors and pickup trucks. Now she was helping an alien queen evade both government agents and hostile aliens. The night was chaos, outside. The Draven ship cast an eerie red glow over the forest. In the distance, they could see smaller craft like metal insects grown large, searching the area. Government vehicles were everywhere, agents in dark suits running with flashlights and guns. They reached Olivia's old truck without being seen. The defense drones climbed underneath it, hiding in the chassis. "Stay down," Olivia told Lyra as they drove slowly along back roads, lights off. "And hold on, this ride won't be smooth." As they drove, Olivia tried to process everything that had happened. "Why me?" she asked. "Out of everyone on Earth, why did you crash near my home?" Lyra was quiet for a moment. "It wasn't entirely by chance. Our scouts had been observing this region. You were identified as someone with technical skills who lived in isolation. If something went wrong with my mission, you were considered a useful contact. So I was chosen? To help you? To be evaluated," Lyra corrected. "But yes, and you have exceeded all expectations." Olivia didn't know whether to feel flattered or used. Before she could decide, a bright light filled the sky ahead. A new ship had appeared, larger than the Draven Scout, with smooth lines that reminded Olivia of Lyra's vessel. "My people," Lyra said, her voice filled with hope. "They've come for me." But as they watched, red beams of light shot up from the ground. The Viridian ship swerved to avoid them. Earth's military was firing at anything alien in the sky. "They're attacking your rescue ship," Olivia said. "And the Draven will use the distraction to their advantage," Lyra added. "We must hurry." The power station loomed ahead, its towers stretching into the night sky. But between them and their destination stood a line of military vehicles. Soldiers in combat gear were setting up positions. "We'll never get through," Olivia said. Lyra looked at her with those strange, glowing eyes. "You've helped me, Olivia Mason. Now I must ask for one more thing. Your trust." "What are you going to do?" Lyra touched her pendant. It began to glow with a blue light. "Show your people the truth and hope they are wise enough to understand it." Olivia watched as Lyra's pendant glowed brighter. The blue light spread, covering Lyra's body until she seemed to be made of pure energy. When it faded, she looked different. Her human disguise was gone. Now, Lyra stood taller, her skin a pale blue with patterns that shifted like constellations. Her hair floated around her head as if she were underwater, and on her forehead was a mark that looked like a crown made of light. "This is who I really am," Lyra said, her voice deeper and echoing slightly. "Sovereign of the Viridian Collective." Olivia couldn't speak. It was one thing to know Lyra was an alien queen. It was another to see her true form. "I will approach them," Lyra continued. "My royal guard will detect my true signature now that I have revealed myself. But I need you to create a distraction, something to draw the Draven away." "Me?" Olivia found her voice. "What can I do against alien invaders?" "You are a mechanic. You understand how things work, how to take them apart." Lyra gestured to the defense drones that had been following them. "These will help you. They respond to this." She removed a small crystal from her pendant and placed it in Olivia's hand. It was warm and seemed to pulse with its own heartbeat. "Command them with your thoughts while holding this," Lyra explained. "They will understand." "I can't just think at them," Olivia protested. "You can. You have been working with Viridian technology for weeks now. It has changed you in small ways. You are compatible." Before Olivia could ask what that meant, the sound of helicopters filled the air. Military aircraft were approaching. "We must move now," Lyra said. "The Draven will detect my true form as well." They split up. Lyra moved toward the power station while Olivia circled around toward the forest edge. The drones followed her, 8 metal insects the size of small dogs. Olivia held the crystal tightly and thought as clearly as she could. "Find the Draven scouts." The drone's eyes glowed brighter. They spread out, moving through the underbrush with surprising speed. Olivia followed, keeping low. At the edge of the trees, she saw them, 3 tall figures moving with jerky, mechanical steps. They looked almost human, but their bodies were covered in metal plates. Their faces were smooth masks with glowing red eyes. Draven scouts, looking for Lyra. One of them held a device that beeped faster as it pointed toward the power station. They were tracking Lyra's energy signature. Olivia gripped the crystal harder. "Distract them. Lead them away from Lyra." The drones moved instantly. They burst from hiding, shooting small beams of blue light at the Draven scouts. The beams didn't seem to hurt the Draven much, but they got their attention. The scouts turned, their masks splitting open to reveal mouths full of metal teeth. They made a sound like gears grinding and began to chase the drones, which scattered in all directions, away from the power station. Two of the scouts followed the drones, but one turned back, still moving toward Lyra. Olivia had to do something. She looked around and spotted a bulldozer parked nearby, part of some construction work at the power station. She ran to it, keeping low. The keys weren't in it, but that didn't matter. Olivia knew engines. She quickly hot-wired the bulldozer and started it up. The engine roared to life, loud in the night air. The Draven scout turned toward the sound. Olivia pushed the throttle forward. The bulldozer lurched toward the scout, picking up speed. The Draven tried to move out of the way, but it was too slow. The bulldozer's blade hit it square on, sending it flying into a ditch. The victory was short-lived. The scout climbed out of the ditch, damaged but still functioning. And now it was coming straight for Olivia. She jumped out of the bulldozer just as the Draven reached it. Metal hands tore into the engine like it was made of paper. Olivia ran, the crystal clutched tightly in her hand. "Help me," she thought desperately. 3 drones appeared, leaping onto the Draven scout. They dug into its metal body with sharp legs, finding gaps in its armor. The scout thrashed, trying to throw them off. Olivia didn't stay to watch. She ran toward the power station, where flashes of blue and red light showed a battle was taking place. When she reached the main building, the scene was chaos. Soldiers were everywhere, weapons pointed at Lyra, who stood in the center of the facility. Her hands were raised, and around her was a shield of blue energy. More Draven had arrived, at least a dozen. They were fighting both the soldiers and trying to get to Lyra. Their weapons fired beams of red energy that melted anything they touched. "Stop!" Olivia shouted, running into the open. "She's not the enemy!" A woman in a dark suit turned toward her. She wore sunglasses despite the darkness and had the stiff posture of someone used to giving orders. "Who are you?" the woman demanded. "How did you get past the perimeter?" "My name is Olivia Mason. That's Lyra, the alien you're all pointing guns at. She crashed near my property 2 weeks ago. I've been helping her repair her ship." "Step back, Ms. Mason," the woman said. "This is a national security situation." "You don't understand," Olivia insisted. "The real threat is those things." She pointed at the Draven. "They're called the Draven. They destroy worlds. Lyra's people are trying to stop them." "We're handling the situation," the woman said, though it was clear they were not. More soldiers were falling to the Draven weapons. Olivia pushed past her and ran toward Lyra. A Draven stepped into her path. It reached for her with metal hands. The crystal in Olivia's hand pulsed. Without thinking, she thrust it toward the Draven. When it touched the alien's chest, there was a flash of blue light. The Draven froze, then fell backward, its red eyes going dark. Olivia reached Lyra's shield. "Let me in," she called. The energy field parted just enough for Olivia to slip through. Inside, it was strangely quiet. "You should have stayed away," Lyra said. She looked tired, the light of her crown dimming. "I couldn't let you face this alone," Olivia replied. "What are you doing?" "Calling my fleet. The power from this station is allowing me to send a direct signal." Lyra pointed to where she had connected her pendant to one of the main power lines. "But I must maintain the shield while the signal transmits. The Draven are trying to stop me." Outside the shield, more Draven were arriving. They fired at the energy field, each hit making Lyra wince. "How long until your fleet gets here?" Olivia asked. "Minutes, perhaps. If the shield holds." Olivia looked around. They were in the main control room of the power station. Panels of switches and monitors lined the walls. An idea formed in her mind. "I might be able to give you more power," she said. "Enough to strengthen the shield and the signal." "How?" "By rerouting all the power from the surrounding areas to this building. It would cause a blackout for miles, but—" "Do it," Lyra said. Olivia went to the control panels. She had fixed enough electrical systems to understand the basics. She began flipping switches, turning dials, redirecting the flow of electricity. The lights in the building flickered, then grew brighter. The hum of power increased. Lyra's shield expanded, pushing the Draven back. "It's working," Lyra said. Her crown glowed brighter. Outside, the woman in the suit was shouting into a radio. More military vehicles were arriving, but they couldn't get past the growing shield of energy. The pendant connected to the power line began to pulse rapidly. A beam of blue light shot upward, through the ceiling, into the night sky. "The signal is sent," Lyra said. "Now we wait." The wait wasn't long. The sky above them seemed to tear open. A massive ship appeared, larger than anything Olivia had ever seen. It was beautiful in a strange way, all smooth curves and glowing lines. Smaller ships poured from it, heading straight for the power station. The Draven looked up, then began to retreat, firing wildly at the approaching Viridian vessels. "My royal guard," Lyra said, relief in her voice. "They've come." The shield around them pulsed one last time, then faded. Lyra swayed on her feet. Olivia caught her before she could fall. "Are you okay?" Olivia asked. "Maintaining the shield drained me," Lyra said weakly. "But I will recover." The woman in the suit approached them cautiously, her weapon still raised. "What's happening?" she demanded. Before Lyra could answer, a beam of light shot down from the largest Viridian ship. It touched the ground outside the power station, and within it appeared 3 figures. They were like Lyra, tall and blue-skinned, but they wore armor that seemed to be made of living metal. They walked forward with purpose, ignoring the soldiers, who scrambled to get out of their way. "My guard," Lyra said. She straightened, summoning her dignity despite her weakness. The 3 Viridians entered the building. When they saw Lyra, they knelt immediately. "Sovereign," the leader said, voice deep and resonant, "we have come to bring you home." "Rise," Lyra commanded. "There is much to do. The Draven must be driven from this system." The guard leader stood. "Our fleet is engaging them now, but we must get you to safety, my queen." "Not yet," Lyra said. She turned to the woman in the suit. "I am Lyra, sovereign of the Viridian Collective. Your world is in danger from the Draven. They will not stop until they have stripped your planet of resources or bent your people to their will." The woman lowered her weapon slightly. "I'm Director Kathy Winters, United States Government. What exactly are you proposing?" "An alliance," Lyra said. "My people have the technology to help you defend your world. In return, we ask for your assistance in the larger war against the Draven." Director Winters looked skeptical. "I don't have the authority to make that kind of agreement." The royal vessel was unlike anything Olivia had ever seen. The inside was larger than it appeared from the outside, with rooms that seemed to grow from the walls. The floors were soft and slightly warm, as if the ship itself were alive. Olivia, Lyra, and Director Winters were taken to the command center. Through large windows they could see Earth below them and the battle raging in orbit. Viridian ships, elegant and swift, fired blue beams at the jagged Draven vessels. "Your fleet is outnumbered," Winters observed, watching the fight. "Quality over quantity," Lyra replied. "The Draven rely on overwhelming force. We rely on superior technology and strategy." A holographic screen appeared in the center of the room. On it was the face of a man Olivia recognized, the President of the United States. "This is an unprecedented situation," the President said, his voice tense. "I understand you're proposing some kind of alliance?" "Yes," Lyra answered. "The Draven have targeted your world. They have done this to many planets before yours. Some resist, some fall. The outcome often depends on whether the Viridian Collective offers assistance." "And why would you help us?" the President asked. "Because the battle against the Draven is one that concerns all life," Lyra said. "They consume, they destroy, they leave nothing behind. If they take Earth, they grow stronger. If we help you defend it, we both benefit." The President looked thoughtful. "What kind of help are you offering?" "Technology to enhance your existing defenses. Knowledge of Draven weaknesses, direct military support from my fleet." Lyra's voice was firm. "In return, we ask for resources to repair our ships and for Earth to join our alliance against the Draven." While they talked, Olivia watched the battle outside. The Viridians were holding their own, but more Draven ships kept appearing. One Viridian vessel took a direct hit and began to fall toward Earth, trailing blue fire. "We don't have time for lengthy negotiations," Olivia interrupted. "Look outside. Those things aren't waiting for us to make up our minds." Everyone turned to her, surprised at her boldness. "Ms. Mason is correct," Lyra said. "The Draven will not pause for diplomacy. They are sending more ships as we speak." The president sighed. "What do you need from us right now?" "Coordinate with my fleet commander," Lyra said. "Direct your military to target the locations I provide, places where Draven ground forces have landed. And I need to get back down there," Olivia added. "The defense drones respond to this crystal. I can help track the Draven scouts." Lyra looked at her with concern. "It would be dangerous." "This is my world," Olivia said simply. "I want to defend it." After a moment, Lyra nodded. "Very well, but you will not go alone." One of the royal guards stepped forward. "I will accompany the human." "Thank you, Vex," Lyra said. The president gave his approval for immediate cooperation. Director Winters would remain on the royal vessel as Earth's representative, coordinating with military forces worldwide. Olivia and Vex were taken to a smaller ship. As they prepared to return to Earth, Lyra approached. "Olivia Mason," she said formally. "You have shown courage and resourcefulness beyond what we expected. The crystal I gave you, it is a royal artifact. It normally responds only to those of Viridian royal blood." "So why does it work for me?" Olivia asked. "That is a mystery," Lyra admitted. "Perhaps there is something special about you. Or perhaps—" She hesitated. "Perhaps it recognized something in you that is similar to us." Before Olivia could ask what that meant, alarms sounded throughout the ship. "The Draven flagship has arrived," Vex announced. "We must hurry." Through the windows, Olivia saw a massive shape appearing in the distance. It was like the other Draven ships, but much larger, with spikes protruding from its hull. "Go," Lyra said. "Find the ground forces. Stop them before they can establish a foothold." Olivia and Vex boarded the smaller vessel. It dropped away from the royal ship, heading back toward Earth at incredible speed. As they descended, Olivia saw more battles taking place in the atmosphere. Viridian ships engaging Draven scouts. They landed near the power station, which was now a military base of operations. Soldiers were everywhere, along with scientists and government officials trying to make sense of the situation. Olivia held up the crystal, concentrating on finding Draven scouts. The remaining defense drones gathered around her, their eyes glowing. "Blue, find them," she whispered. The drones scattered, moving in different directions. Olivia and Vex followed the ones heading west toward the mountains. "The crystal," Vex said as they hurried along. "It's called the Heart of Verid. It's one of our most sacred relics. The fact that you can use it, this has never happened before." "Lyra said something about me being similar to your people," Olivia said. "What did she mean?" Vex was quiet for a moment. "There are old stories about the early days of space exploration. Some Viridians remained on the worlds they visited. Some integrated with the local populations." "Are you saying I might have alien ancestry?" Olivia asked, incredulous. "It is a possibility," Vex replied. "Though distant if true, many thousands of your years ago. The idea was too strange to process right now." Olivia focused on following the drones, which had led them to a cave entrance hidden among the trees. "They're in there," she said, feeling the crystal pulse in her hand. "At least a dozen Draven." Vex touched his armor, which shifted and expanded to cover more of his body. "Stay behind me," he said. "The Draven are dangerous in close quarters." They entered the cave cautiously. The drones went ahead, their eyes providing enough light to see by. The tunnel sloped downward, going deep into the mountain. After walking for several minutes, they came to a large chamber. What they saw made them freeze in place. The Draven had built some kind of machine. It pulsed with red energy, sending beams into the ground. Around it, the earth was changing, turning dark and metallic. A conversion engine, Vex whispered, horror in his voice. They're transforming your planet's core. Into what? Olivia asked. Fuel, resources. They're beginning the consumption process. Vex's face was grim. This is how it starts on every world they take. Draven scouts moved around the machine, adjusting controls. They hadn't noticed the intruders yet. We need to destroy that thing, Olivia said. How do we do that? Vex reached into his armor and pulled out a small sphere. This is an implosion device. It will collapse the machine into itself, but someone needs to place it directly on the central column. And that someone would be right in the middle of all those Draven, Olivia observed. Great. She looked at the crystal in her hand, then at the drones. An idea formed. The drones, she said. Can they carry the device? Yes, but they would need to be precisely controlled. The placement must be exact. Olivia closed her fingers around the crystal. I can do it. She concentrated, focusing her thoughts on one drone. It moved forward, then stopped, waiting. Vex placed the implosion device on its back. The drone adjusted to the weight. Now we need a distraction, Olivia said. Vex nodded. I will provide one. When I give the signal, send the drone. He stepped out of hiding and fired his weapon. Beams of blue energy hit two Draven scouts, sending them crashing into the walls. The others turned immediately, their faces splitting open to reveal metal teeth. Now, Vex shouted as he continued firing. Olivia focused all her concentration on the drone carrying the device. She guided it through the chaos, avoiding Draven hands that reached for it. The drone moved with precision, getting closer to the machine's central column. A Draven spotted the drone and lunged for it. Olivia mentally commanded the other drones to attack. They swarmed the Draven, buying time. The carrier drone reached the column. It placed the device exactly where it needed to be. Olivia felt a surge of triumph. It's done, she called to Vex. We need to get out of here. Vex fired one last shot, then turned to run. As they raced back up the tunnel, they heard the Draven pursuing them. How long until it detonates? Olivia asked. 30 seconds, Vex replied. We need to move faster. They burst out of the cave just as the ground began to shake. A rumbling sound came from deep below. Then the entrance collapsed, sealing the Draven inside. Will that kill them? Olivia asked. No, Vex said, but it will stop their conversion process and trap them until they can be dealt with properly. They made their way back to the power station. The sky above was filled with light and sound as the space battle continued. But something had changed. The massive Draven flagship was retreating, moving away from Earth. When they reached the base, they found Lyra waiting for them. She looked tired, but triumphant. The Draven are withdrawing, she announced. Their flagship has been damaged and they've lost too many support vessels to continue the attack. We destroyed their conversion engine, Olivia said. They were trying to transform the planet's core. You have done well, Lyra said. Both of you. Director Winters approached, looking both exhausted and exhilarated. The President has agreed to your terms, Queen Lyra. Earth will join your alliance against the Draven. Then this day marks a new beginning, Lyra said, for both our peoples. In the days that followed, much changed. The existence of alien life could no longer be hidden from the public. There was panic at first, then wonder, then a cautious acceptance, as the Viridians proved to be allies rather than conquerors. Olivia found herself in a strange new role, liaison between human engineers and Viridian technologists.